Hey there, so tonight is it's horror Blu-ray night, and we're going to be looking at some different horror DVDs that maybe passed by, or maybe didn't like the first time around, that I'm saying let's try and give another chance. I mean, recently I've been talking on here about, oh well, if you read the comments and stuff like that on movies like Constantine, which I don't think deserve a second chance, here are some horror movies that got bad raps along the way, or just some stuff. Basically, what I wanted to do tonight was pick out a certain amount of Blu-rays, not stuff that I normally talk about that much, and talk about it and just see, is it worth picking up? Is it worth owning? Is it worth renting? Have you seen this one or not? Is it worth Netflixing? And that's what we're going to do right now. And I think we're going to start off with what I consider a modern-day monster classic. And that is Rogue. If you saw the movie Wolf Creek, and if you're a horror fan, you probably watched Wolf Creek at least a couple of times by now, and there's a sequel coming out. The director of Wolf Creek directed this really, really cool killer croc movie, alligator, killer monstery big movie, Rogue. It is incredible. And it's just a very fun film. It goes in places that I don't know if you really don't expect it to go, but this is one of those movies where you're never ever bored. It's a Dimension Extreme film, but it's still good. Yeah, I know a lot of the Dimension Extreme films get tarnished with a label of being not the best or just slapped on, but this is one of the better ones, I gotta say. And we got Michael Vartan, of course, from Alias, among other things, and Radha Mitchell in this one. And if you're a Silent Hill fan, you've seen her in that one. She's much better in this, by the way. And Rogue, this is the unrated copy. Really suggest that you pick this one up and or at least give it a watch. I found it a really fun film. There seems to be no real features on here, but definitely worth checking out if you haven't seen it before. Next up is next two actually are movies that I actually got at a Dollarama. So I got these Blu-rays brand new for $3 each. So, but don't let that dissuade you, because there are actually some pretty cool stuff. First up is Midnight Movie. Midnight Movie is a movie that I had a lot of fun with. I actually went into this one not thinking that I was going to like it very much, and it's kind of cool, unique little concept. You got a almost like a curse movie. They're watching this horror movie in the theater. They're seeing the killer. The killer actually gets out of the film, comes into the theater and attacks them, and they end up going into the movie itself, and got to run from the killer in his territory as well. So some cool twists near the end, some very cool stuff. It's very different, kind of surreal. Love this movie. If you like the old 70s type horror films, this was very much shot in the old style of the 70s horror. And Matt, did you like this one?
I don't remember it very well, but I do remember liking it. I know it was on like a while back, and I sat down and watched a bit of it, but I just can't remember much of it.
And this one here, for a budget title, it's got director's commentary, we've got creative team, with the cast, we've got visual effects, storyboards, deleted scenes, additional shooting, storyboard comparison, outtakes, trailers. It's pretty much packed. Definitely worth picking up. If you see this one at your local Dollarama, you can get this one for $5 or less. I paid $3 for this one with tax and Midnight Movie. I highly recommend it. Next up is one that I knew nothing about before I saw it, and most people, the only thing that they know about this is that, hey, that's the mayor from Batman, and that's the girl from Big Bang Theory. And that is Killer Movie. And the Killer Movie is very much a tongue-in-cheek slasher-type horror film, set on a kind of a reality set type of thing going on. There's an actual killer, and I just had fun with this one. I thought it was kind of a fun movie. It's not one where you got to really guess too hard on who did it, but I personally enjoyed it. And I think this guy here, he was on soap opera Days of Our Lives, but you probably know him from The Mentalist. He was quite the interesting character in one season of that. Next up is one that everybody knows, but I thought I'd throw it in there anyway, because people tend to underrate this one a lot, and it's Sleepy Hollow from Tim Burton. Now, Sleepy Hollow is a very Hammer-esque film. This is pretty much Tim Burton's love letter to Hammer films, and he does a great job. That I really did love Sleepy Hollow. It's a great cast. We got Christopher Lee in this one here. We've got Miranda Richardson, Michael Gambon. We got Casper Van Dien. Jeffrey Jones, music by Danny Elfman, of course, because it is Tim Burton after all. And we also got a Christina Ricci. Oh, and a little known actor by the name of Johnny Depp actually does a big part in this one as well. So really worth checking out. Love Chris Walken as Headless Horseman. Very cool stuff. There's a cool commentary by Tim Burton on here. Sleepy Hollow, Behind the Legend. Reflections on Sleepy Hollow. Just worth checking out. You can usually get this one for fairly cheap too. Most of the ones I'm mentioning here you can get for fairly cheap. Next up is one that I watched with my son, actually, Matthew, and we kind of creeped us out, and we didn't expect it to. Actually, we didn't expect anything from the movie, which probably made it better than we at the time.
I don't ever expect anything from a found footage film, but
The Last Exorcism, and there's not just found footage. There's found footage aspects to the film, but it's just some really, really cool stuff. Last Exorcism is a really fun film. There's a sequel to this one. I haven't really got around to watching that yet.
From the trailers, I don't know.
You never know, but from trailers, this one I think is going to be good. This is a much different film than I thought it was going to be. Went into places that I'm really glad that I went. And the main girl in this one, Carpenter, right? Jennifer Carpenter, is it? Is that her name? Something like that. Anyway, can't remember right now, but she could twist and contort her body in like freaky ways that made this movie extra scary. Love this film. Some people don't like it. They're wrong. It's a good film. It's a fun film. There's a little demonology book on the inside here, which I'm not going to take it right now, but this is a fairly cheap one to get right now. It comes with a digital copy, not sure if that's still usable or not, but I got to check it out. Last Exorcism, definitely worth checking out. Here is a remake that everybody hates upon, and that is Prom Night. Prom Night, the remake. The original Prom Night, of course, is a Jamie Lee Curtis classic, but when you go back and rewatch it again, it's a fun movie, but it's a very slow movie. It is very much the 80s slasher that really takes its time to get where it's going. This one pretty much just starts up and goes from there. We got Brittany Snow, Jonathan Shea, who pretty much makes almost a career out of doing remakes and sequels to movies that you didn't think needed remakes or sequels. Roadhouse 2, for instance. Prom Night is cheesy, leave your brain at the door type of fun. It is not... It gets a bad rap because it's I think it was a PG-13. It wasn't a hard R anyway for this one here. But the movie itself has a very dark turn, and let's just say things do not work the best for a lot of these characters. Actually, for most of these characters. I just had fun with this film. A lot of people hate on it. And again, if you're a slasher fan, you're going to find something to like in this. If you're not a slasher fan, this is not going to change your mind. But I would definitely recommend checking it out. If you don't like it, tough, I like it. Next up is I want to do a kind of a classic thing. It's Stephen King. It's a cool one. I got a lot of cats, so Pet Sematary. Pet Sematary is such a fun film. I love the song by the Ramones on this. It's just a really cool song. Fits the movie. This was a very dark one to do. Mary Lambert directs this. Incredibly Canadian. And we got a commentary by the director here. We got a Stephen King territory featurette, characters filming the horror. This is just a really, really great film. A very dark film. I think it's one of the last films Fred Gwynne did. Of course, played Herman Munster in The Munsters. I think his last film may have been My Cousin Vinny. But this was his last really great film. Because how the hell did My Cousin Vinny ever win an Oscar? Come on. Next up is another remake that gets crapped on a lot. And that's My Bloody Valentine 3D. If you're going to have this movie, get this version right here. It was a Best Buy exclusive edition, and this one actually does have the 3D for. So if your TV is 3D, you're going to be able to see the movie in the 3D the way it's supposed to be shown. Plus, you can watch it in a regular Blu-ray as well, and there's the DVD copy in here. It's a great, fun little film. Again, if you're not a slasher fan, this will not change your mind. But if you are a slasher fan, you're going to have a lot of fun with this film, especially if you've seen the original My Bloody Valentine. You can't beat the original for me. But this one does have a lot going for it. There's some cool scenes, and of course it has one of the greats in here. And who is that? Well, watch the movie and find out. but I'll give you a hint. He starred in Halloween 3. And the next one is probably the most hated film of the ones I'm going to show you right now.
Is it My Soul to Take?
It is My Soul to Take.
I watched that one quite a bit. Well, once, but I have words on that film.
Okay, come in.
Oh, okay. I'll
Wes
stop
Craven.
playing A Link Between Worlds for a second.
Wes Craven. This is not his worst film.
Well, it's probably not.
Cursed is probably his worst film.
Oh.
But still...
Yeah, no, that's still his worst film.
It's not bad.
That film has a really good concept. Like, am I allowed to do spoilers here?
Yeah, well, it's spoilerific right now.
Hey, I'm about to spoil stuff. So the whole twist is that the guy at the beginning, you see that a guy, there's a serial killer going around. You find out that it's this guy who suffers from split personality disorder, and he kills his wife, and he's about to kill his daughter, and he gets killed, but it appears that he might not get killed. So later on, when the killings are going on, it's like, oh, could it be him again? But the huge twist is that, one, it's another guy who inherited the bad soul of the Ripper, because apparently there's a belief that the split personality is a soul, and the main character, Newt, I think his name is, or something like weird. Is actually the good side, the good half of them we saw at the beginning. One of the best parts of the film, and it's really subtle. Every one of the victims, every one of the 7 people who, is it 7? I think 7.
7, yeah.
Who were born on the day, like, who may have a connection to it, are all a different one of his personalities. At the beginning, you can hear every one of the voices with, like, the different quirks that they all have going on in his head. And that's an excellent concept if it were actually played out upon. But it's only subtle and mentioned once.
I gotta say, I did like though. I mean, overall, it did entertain.
Yeah,
I mean,
it
it wasn't.
I guess too, like the killer. I didn't actually spoil much of anything. I didn't tell you who the killer was. But you can guess yourself. It's really easy to guess, especially once you like see where all the personalities fit.
The acting was good. I gotta say that. I like the acting.
The acting was good, with the exception of
yeah.
the jock. Do you know the jock? The jock dying scene.
Oh yeah.
When he's, what do you want? It's like to have kids. Fuck your kids, and then he like kills them or something.
Yeah.
It was really awful.
But there are it's a fun film to watch. If you've not seen this movie, it is not. It's it's not going to not going to change your mind on horror if you don't like horror. Not going to change your mind on slashers if you don't like slashers. But it's something different.
It's something different.
Give it a chance. I mean, like,
you know what a good Wes Craven film is? New Nightmare. You don't even have to see the rest of the Nightmare on Elm Street films to see that. New Nightmare.
Yeah.
Go watch New Nightmare. I love New Nightmare.
It's a great film.
Super meta.
I'm trying to do films that are not people would not normally take. And My Soul to Take gets crapped on a lot, but do you think it deserves the crap that it gets, though?
I don't think it deserves the crap that it gets. I was going to go see it in theaters, but I ended up watching an Owl film because I wasn't old enough then to see it.
But, not a bad film. Not a great film, but not a bad film. And, again, just some very, very cool movies that you can check out. Turn off your brain, 90 minutes, great stuff to watch, and, if you're not a horror fan, these probably are not going to change your mind. But if you are a horror fan, it's some fun stuff and something different from the norm and the usual.
You know what really won't change your mind if you're not a horror fan?
What?
Totoro. Totoro won't change your mind about anything.
But it will make you really happy.
Yeah, no, there's no problem with Totoro.
Totoro makes
Totoro's
everybody
always
happy.
happy.
So, see, she's there. She's there. And horror. Definitely something fun to watch on the weekend. I think I'm going to watch one right now, actually. I'm just not sure what. Not one of those. Probably Curse of Chucky. Curse of Chucky. We're going to watch Curse of Chucky. So we haven't seen Curse of Chucky, so I thought, hey, why not?
Bit of like false advertising there.
Yeah.
Watch all these films. I think I'm going to watch one. Not one of those. No.
No, I've
Curse
seen
of
these.
Chucky.
I've seen all these recently.
Yeah.
I'm winding up my time there, so right now I'm going to go get some tea before I watch the film and give my kids.
And I'm going to play Link to the Past. Or, no, I mean Link Between Worlds, the sequel.
You are totally watching Curse of Chucky with me.
Yeah, no, I will.
Okay, so thanks for watching. Say hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
And right now it is literally time for tea.
Bill Penny.